Everyone thought the Admiral's word was final, until the ocean itself rose to challenge him. No one on that carrier deck could believe what surfaced next. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The North Pacific was steel gray that morning, calm, yet hiding storms beneath. The USS Ravenhold, an American aircraft carrier, cut through the waters like a floating city of power. But tension crackled across its decks. Every sailor could feel it, the kind of tension that happens before something breaks. Lieutenant Commander Elise Warren stood rigid before Admiral Kent Rowan. Her uniform soaked in sea mist, her eyes locked on his. She'd just disobeyed a direct order during a joint exercise, and the Admiral was furious. "You don't get to decide when to question command," he thundered. Voice echoing across the flight deck, Elise didn't flinch. "Sir, I stopped a training torpedo from locking onto our own crew. If I hadn't overridden the system, you compromised the chain of command," he barked, cutting her off. "Pack your things. You're off this ship by sunrise." Every sailor nearby froze. No one dared move. Elise saluted stiffly, her jaw trembling with restrained fury. Then she turned and walked away, her boots clicking against steel as the wind tore across the deck. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. They sent her to shore, transferred, suspended, forgotten. But what the Admiral didn't know was that Elise's override had uncovered something deeper, an anomaly in the carrier's sonar data. A strange signal, repeating every 12 minutes. Too structured to be natural. In her small temporary office on base, she replayed the data late into the night. The pattern was consistent, rhythmic, almost like a distress code. But it was coming from deep, too deep, below known submarine depths. Her gut twisted. Something was down there. She sent the report up the chain of command. It vanished into silence. Days passed. Then weeks. The sea remained restless. And Admiral Rowan, back aboard the Ravenhold, received a classified alert. Unidentified submersible movement detected within exclusion zone. He frowned. That zone was empty, by his own orders. No allied subs, no foreign contacts. But the sonar was certain. "Get me eyes down there," he commanded. When the sonar image appeared on the monitor, the Admiral's breath caught. The outline was unmistakable, a nuclear submarine. But not one of theirs. Miles away, Elise's phone buzzed. A single encrypted message appeared. "You were right. It's moving." Her pulse quickened. She rushed to the base command room, but the officers dismissed her. "You're not cleared, Lieutenant Commander. You're not even on duty." She stormed out, heart pounding, every instinct screaming. She'd spent 10 years in naval intelligence. She knew that signal. It wasn't a foreign sub. It was an automated distress call. Someone had reactivated a decommissioned vessel, the USS Valor, a nuclear sub lost 5 years earlier during a classified mission, and now it was rising. Back on the carrier, alarms blared. Unidentified vessel surfacing, bearing 017 degrees. Admiral Rowan rushed to the deck. Sailors gathered at the railings, staring into the endless gray expanse. The ocean began to bubble. A deep rumble shook the hull. Then, impossibly, a massive black shape broke the surface, angled, groaning, ancient. The USS Valor. Rusted, scarred, and impossible, every sailor fell silent. The Admiral's hands trembled against the railing. That can't be," he whispered. "We buried her." And then, the carrier's radio crackled. A female voice, steady and calm, came through the static. "This is Lieutenant Commander Elise Warren, relaying emergency override code. Stand down your alert systems. Do not engage." The bridge erupted. "She's on that sub?" Rowan's face went pale. Impossible. But deep down, he knew it wasn't. Hours earlier, Elise had broken protocol, boarded a patrol craft, and followed the sonar trail herself. When she reached the coordinates, she found the ghostly hull of the Valor emerging from the dark depths. Using her old clearance, she accessed its hatch, and inside, she found a miracle and a nightmare. The submarine was empty, save for a flickering control system still responding to its last orders. Someone had set it to rise automatically when it detected nearby American vessels, an old contingency, a failsafe to return home. But the nuclear core had become unstable if the Admiral's carrier came too close. It could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. Now, standing in the control room of a dead submarine, Elise faced an impossible choice: obey her exile, or disobey again and save everyone above. She chose the latter on the carrier. The Admiral's voice broke through the comms. "Elise, you're not authorized to be there." Her answer was calm, resolute. "Authorization doesn't matter when you're trying to prevent a nuclear breach. You're risking your life. Someone has to." A pause. The Admiral closed his eyes. Around him, the bridge crew held their breath. For the first time, he saw not insubordination, but courage. "Tell me what you need," he said quietly. Her voice softened. "I need you to move the carrier. Now. I can't stabilize the reactor with your engines this close." He hesitated. Moving meant abandoning control of the situation. Admitting she was right. But he looked around at the faces of his crew, the same crew she'd once saved from that torpedo malfunction, and he knew the truth. "Helm," he said. "Full reverse. Get us clear." The ship's engines roared to life. Below, Elise worked feverishly, hands shaking as she rerouted coolant lines and cut auxiliary power. The metal around her creaked and hissed. She could feel the heat building behind the sealed reactor doors. One wrong move, and she'd vanish with the Valor. She thought of her crew, her shipmates, the ocean that had shaped her life. "Not today," she whispered. "Not this way." The pressure gauge fell, slowly, then sharply. The alarms quieted. The rumbling stopped. The Valor went still on the carrier. They watched as the subsystems powered down. The lights inside dimming one by one until the ocean swallowed its reflection. The Admiral gripped the railing, his knuckles white. "Get her out of there." Moments later, a small escape hatch opened. A flare shot upward, burning bright red against the gray sky. Cheers erupted across the deck. Sailors shouted her name. Minutes later, Elise was pulled aboard, drenched, shaking, but alive. When she stepped onto the deck, the Admiral was waiting. For a long moment, neither spoke. The sea wind howled between them. Then, to everyone's astonishment, the Admiral saluted her, and for the first time in his career, he said the words no one expected to hear. "I was wrong." That evening, the horizon glowed gold as the sun broke through the clouds. Elise stood alone at the edge of the deck, watching the waves roll gently beneath the hull. The Valor lay silent below, a monument to sacrifice and stubborn hope. Rowan approached quietly. "Command's reinstating your clearance," he said. "They'll want a full debrief." She smiled faintly. "Let them wait." The oceans earned a moment of peace. He nodded. "You saved my ship, Commander." She looked out over the water. "No," she said softly. "I just listened when no one else would." Because courage isn't about command. It's about conscience, and sometimes the sea itself rises to defend the truth we tried to bury. Before you go, tell me what you thought of this story and where in the world you're listening from. Don't forget to subscribe for more true-to-life stories of courage, heart, and the human spirit.